Hi, this is Jessica Williamson with New Filmmakers Los Angeles, and we are here at Cambridge Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood with the lovely Nicole Jones, who is here and is going to tell us about her film, The Kingdom. Hi.
Hi.
I am so excited to talk to you because I absolutely loved this film. Would you like to give a brief synopsis about the film?
Sure. The Kingdom is about a hotel appraiser who basically goes around and determines the worth of hotels for her company and determines whether or not they should buy it. And so she goes to this motel in the middle of nowhere and finds out that it's run by a 10-year-old. So it's just about their relationship and adventures, and the little girl calls it the Kingdom and just has a crazy imagination.
And she kind of brings magic back to this woman's life who has become way too grown up.
Way too grown up.
Way too grown up. And it was great because when I was watching it, it reminded me to stop being so grown up too. How did you wrote and directed this film. Yeah. How did you come up with the idea for the story?
Well, it actually started as a sci-fi dystopia with a woman. I mean, it just was very complicated, and I decided over months and months and months that we didn't really have the resources to properly make it. I would love to make that film sometime, but I just thought if we weren't able to do it extremely well, it probably wasn't worth it. So we simplified it, and ended up randomly on this woman who travels around and still doesn't see the magic of traveling, and she still is kind of in the business world and in the very much adult, I guess, too much grown up. Yeah.
So the sets on the film are fantastic. This little girl makes this kingdom. She builds it sort of with arts and crafts. What was the set design like? I mean, did you guys just get a bunch of construction paper and string and all chip in, or
that's pretty much it?
Okay.
Yeah, my production designer, Catherine Ferns, was incredible, still is. But she stayed up. I mean, I don't know that she slept ever the entire shoot, and like all night. She was just all the crowns, like they handcrafted crowns that we put up on the walls that like the little girl made as the kingdom. And we had probably the most complex was we had this fort, and there was like a tent fort built out of sheets, just like little kids do. And that idea was inspired just because we didn't have enough places to shoot. Like I didn't want to do another scene in a hotel room or like outside, and so yeah.
You built a fort.
So I was like, let's do a fort. and she did it. And movie making, we had to actually build it twice because we shot the interiors in a different place. And all the logistics were crazy. So we built the outside just for one shot of the outside, and then built it again for them when we did the inside. But it's crazy.
And what was your budget for all of this?
It initially was around $18,000. I think we ended up more around $16,000, which is nice. But
it's great.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully making a lot of your own sets helped.
Yeah, sheets and construction paper didn't end up being as expensive as we thought. But.
And I can't talk to you about your film without talking to you about your fantastic actress, Jessica. Mm-hmm. She's 12 years old now.
She is now, yeah.
And how old was she when she shot the film?
I think she was 11, probably going on 12. You know what? I think her birthday's in May or something, and she was telling everyone that she was 12, but she's actually 11 because we shot in March. And I just kept telling her, Jessica, you're not 12 yet. But she decided that was her age.
Well, she was a very, very talented young girl. How did you find her, and what was the casting process like? And also, what was it like working with children? What was it like directing them?
I found her just, stroke of luck. I kept asking around, but she was just somebody that responded to an online casting call that I had placed, and she came in. We did auditions all throughout January, like the entire month in LA, and she came in, and we loved her from the minute she walked in. And we had a lot of other good. I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of good talent that we saw in young girls, but she definitely blew us away. But yeah, I don't remember what the other questions were.
What was it like directing a child? What was it like working with a child? What are the differences between working with her and an adult?
It was so great. It was, I mean, I was nervous. I'm not really a kid person, which is ironic.
You wouldn't tell,
I
but
don't really like babysitting. But I was just so pleasantly surprised. I mean, I remember doing rehearsals and thinking, because there's a scene where, you know, she talks to the other members of the kingdom, the jester, and they're all imaginary. And we were doing rehearsals, and I was like, so just like tell me about your friends at the kingdom. And she was like, well, I have this person, and she was just like knew, you know, she just bought into it. I was like, and she was writing them letters and all this stuff, and built this whole world in her head, and without me even really asking her to, which is such, I mean, just is why this story works, I think, because it makes sense that a 10-year-old who's left alone in a motel will start calling it the kingdom and kind of make her own world and her own friends. So that, coupled with the fact that Jessica is extremely mature and is a 30-year-old at heart, was very helpful. And so I didn't really, I mean, I never had to like talk to her like a kid or tell her to stop goofing around. And I was glad that she was goofing around because it worked for the film when she did.
I mean, you guys did a fantastic job of capturing the imagination of a child. So you must be really excited about the future, and you had told me earlier that you are going to be entering it in some festivals. Mm-hmm. How long is the film? 19?
It's 19 minutes.
19 minutes. Have you, I know some festivals prefer short films to be around 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Have you found that challenging, or have you gotten any feedback on that from festivals when you've submitted it?
Yeah, I haven't necessarily gotten feedback specifically, but I have heard it's a lot easier when a film is shorter, like 5-10 minutes, yeah, like you said, because you can just kind of, you know, put it in anywhere. Whereas if you have a 20-minute film like mine, it has to beat out 2 really good 10-minute films, or, you know, 4 or 5-minute films. So I think that has played a part in the festivals I've gotten into, but it's okay so far. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think the film is so good. You know, I wouldn't think that it would be a problem for you guys. And what are your plans for the future? Would you ever make a feature out of this?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how I see this film.
Yeah.
I see it as a feature. Yeah.
I would love to. do that. I've started on my own time, just writing and doing that. But that would be a dream.
Very cool.
Future, yeah.
And is there anything else that you're working on in the future now?
I'm just doing, like, writing on my own time. I'm working as a PA a lot of the time, just long hours. But when I do have free time, I have been writing my own projects or talking to different writers, and I'm really into podcasts recently and really into plays. I love theater, so I would love, that's a whole nother, but I would love to write a play and put it on like a small place. I think theater is so magical, and how it's just right in front of you and everything. But I would love to do a little 3-minute, like we were saying, a little 3-minute thing you can shoot in one day, just to keep directing and keep submitting it. And yeah,
cool.
So many dreams.
Thanks. You know, we look forward to seeing what you do in the future. I'm sure you're going to have a really bright future ahead of you.
Thanks.
And thanks so much for coming and chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
Thanks.